Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy New Year's Eve, I guess it would be. What happened today? Well, Bitcoin's still up a little bit here. Just when I last checked it, miners were up in the morning. They were down towards the end of the day, except for I think two that were in the green. Right now, we're just going to take a look at just the miners, see how they did this past year. We're going to look at some of their stats really quick as well, go through each one of them, and then see how they did in last year, year to date. Well, this year from we'll look at some time frames on the charts at that, and we'll get into your Q&A. We also have a news story from Hive. Hive is coming to America, which is kind of exciting there. We only have now Bitfarms left to kind of head over to the United States as well. We'll see when they do that. But yeah, it should be pretty short and sweet. Hopefully, we won't go too long. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. And if you guys subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Hit the like button. I would appreciate it. All right, let's get into what's going on here with Bitcoin really quick today. Bitcoin was up nicely this morning, and then afterwards it kind of did a little dog poo-poo. But it's still up nonetheless. It's still up 0.75%. We have about an hour, I think about an hour trading left on it, I believe. Yeah, actually we got 13 minutes left, so it's going to change over at 6 o'clock my time, Central Standard Time. So it's going to end up finishing out the year in the green for the last day of the year, actually. But the miners, like I said, were all in the red today. They started out in the green, but they finished out pretty badly. So everybody was down here. Even MicroStrategy was up in the day as well. It ended up being 4.4% in the red. Bitfarms was down 3.25. Bitdeer was down 2.75 roughly. Cypher was down just almost 0.4 here. Cleanspark down 3.15. CORZ was up 1.22. Hive was down 2.2. It's up actually after hours right now, 1.4. Hut 8 was down 4.75. IREN was down 1.2. Mara was down 3. Riot was down 2.75. Wolf was up today, 6.39%. Had a good day. And then we had Annie being up, also one of the smaller miners there. I didn't see any news on that one. Some of the other smaller miners were down as well. The WGMI was low as well. Everything was down. But today was just a weird day. I mean, you can see here we came up to these, with Bitcoin, to this 50 simple day moving average. We got close to it right there, and then we fell off. So it definitely is acting as resistance right now for it. We'll see what the new year brings us in the first couple of days and weeks on Bitcoin, but I still think we might be heading down a little bit. MicroStrategy also came pretty close today, filling this gap here that it had at between like 280 and roughly 292 or something like that. It got pretty close to that. That one probably will still come down to the 100 simple day moving average before it bounces, I think. And same thing with possibly Bitcoin here. I still think we might be coming down to like the 100 simple day moving average before everything is said and done, then we rally up higher. That would be ideally what we would see. If not, if we get a 30% retracement from the top, we're looking at closer to like maybe 75,000 as the bottom at that point. We'll see where it goes. I would love to see Bitcoin rally into the new year. But I think the first week or two are going to be bumpy and heading in a downward direction. After that, I think we'll reverse, especially as we get closer to Trump's inauguration, which is going to be the 20th. So I think at that point things might reverse, and depending on what he says on his inauguration day of his first day in office, if he does some kind of executive order to make Bitcoin that they have right now in custody as part of the strategic reserve, that would be obviously a good catalyst for the stock, or not stock, for the Bitcoin market to go back up. But yeah, we will see what happens there. Okay, so the only story that we do have here is going to be on Hive. Hive reported today that they are announcing a relocation of their head office to San Antonio, Texas, and transitioning to U.S. GAAP reporting. So this is good. This will allow them to take advantage of the FASB rules, all that stuff, which then will let them revalue their Bitcoin holdings in a positive light as well. So that's going to be really good for them. But here's what they had to say. Hive is excited to announce a strategic relocation of its head office from Vancouver, Canada to San Antonio, Texas, and a transition to U.S. GAAP reporting. And then this strategic move underscores Hive's commitment to growth, innovation, and maximizing shareholder value within one of the world's most dynamic and influential markets. The company has signed a lease agreement for office space in San Antonio, Texas, marking an important step in establishing its new headquarters. So that's great news there for Hive. I think this is definitely going to help the stock, or at least it should. It should bring in more capital flowing into it, especially from the investment funds and all that stuff. That's going to possibly be able to get more money in that way. But here's the key advantages that they see to the move. Excuse me. Access to thriving blockchain ecosystem. Right, we know the United States is one of the best. Favorable business environment in Texas, and new administration under the leadership of President-elect Donald Trump. Also down here, deeper and more robust capital markets. Right, that's kind of where they're looking to get access to more funds that are based in the United States, venture capital funds, technology funds, and ETFs in the United States, all that stuff. It's going to be part of it. Support for sustainable growth. So they've been always a key. That's been always a key driver for them, is using sustainable growth and also mining, environmentally friendly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, transitioning to U.S. GAAP reporting, right? That's going to be all part of that. And then looking ahead here, the relocation represents a significant milestone in Hive's growth story. The company expects this strategic move to enhance long-term shareholder value, increase stock trading liquidity, and attract global investor interest, foster innovation, and accelerate growth in blockchain and AI-driven data centers. And then Hive's CFO and CEO will stay in Canada to ensure continuity in leadership and operations. Hive is also seeking to hire an internal auditor with expertise in Sarbanes-Oxley in San Antonio to support our U.S. regulatory compliance. So basically, there's going to be an office there for somebody that's going to be a internal auditor that is just going to be getting the papers and mail, basically, and all that stuff, the way I get it, the way I understand it at least. And then their business operations are still going to be mostly in Canada, but their headquarters are going to be in the United States here, to take advantage of all that stuff that's available to them here in the United States. So I think this is good, right? So we've seen a couple companies move from Canada. We've seen Hut 8 do that when they merged with USBTC. Now Hive as well. And then we have pretty much just Bitfarms left. And Bitfarms has signaled that they are definitely looking into it possibly. So that might be a good thing for them to do as well. So then all the Canadian miners, for the most part, the big ones, are going to be moving to the United States, which is fantastic. There's still a bunch of smaller ones like Digihost, DMG. There's other ones in there as well. I'm trying to think what the other ones are right now. I can't, off the top of my head, think of them, but I know there's a couple more that are in there that are in Canada based. Wow. Excuse me. That is it for Hive. So this is great news, like I said. And let's get into the miners here really quick. The miners on the charts, we'll look at a couple of time frames on them to end out the year here. This is the latest data that we have for what they ended on today. And we can see the price difference from 10/1/2024. So this is basically the last quarter that we're in right now, Q4, which just ended today. You can see BitDeer has outperformed everybody here tremendously well. It's up 212% in that time span in just the last 3 months. Hut 8 has also done very well, 77%. Bitcoin up 48%. So that's done really good also. And then everybody else here has underperformed in the last 3 months, which is kind of interesting to see here, especially like, Bitfarms definitely underperformed, down 24%. Hive as well, 3.72, right? The two Canadian miners that are left in Canada have underperformed here the most. Even Cleanspark, though, 6.97%. Marathon, only 11%. CORZ, 19%. IREN, 27%. Cypher, 29%. TerraWolf at 30%, and then Riot at 44%. So that was definitely an interesting way that the third quarter played out for us. If we look at from the first or the second half of the year, right? So the start of the second half to now, things look a little bit different. We got BitDeer being up the most, 104% at that point. Bitcoin is up 43%, and then everybody else has underperformed here in the last 6 months. So again, it's not been a great 6 months for the Bitcoin miners. CORZ is only up 42%, Hut is up 34%, TerraWolf up 8%, Riot up 2%, Cypher is down, Hive is down, IREN is down 22%, Marathon is down 25%, Bitfarms is down 44%, Cleanspark down 48%. That's why I expect some of these guys down here to outperform in 2025, especially as Bitcoin goes up higher in price to 150,000, 200,000, wherever it might go. That's kind of my expectation going forward here. They've just been beaten down so much that it's going to be, the hedge funds and everybody else is going to be licking their chops to bring these guys up, I think, in value so they can profit as much as they can in 2025 on these things. Price difference from the start of the year here. We got CORZ doing the best, up 308%. So if you got into it at the beginning of the year, you're doing really well right now. TerraWolf up 146%, BitDeer 144%, Bitcoin's up 101%. So those guys have outperformed Bitcoin just a little bit. CORZ especially has done really well here. But everybody else, again, here this past year has not done that as well. Hut up 62%, IREN up 44%, Cypher up 12%, Cleanspark down 15%, Marathon down 26%, Riot down 33%, Hive down 35%, Bitfarms down 47% from the beginning of the year. So it has not been a great year for the majority of these guys here. And then looking at the price difference from the beginning of January of 2023, which the miners bottomed out in December of 2022, things look a little bit different, right? So if you got in at that time, if you were dollar cost averaging in, you're still probably doing really well. Regardless if you have Bitcoin or not, if you just got some of the miners here, you're probably doing really well. But you've had to hold on to these things for basically 2 full years and dollar cost average into them possibly. So IREN at that point is up the most, 725% here. It's had huge growth here this last year. It's done a fantastic job in growth-wise. And from where it bottomed out in December of 2022, TeraWolf up almost nicely as well, 697%, followed by Cypher, 625%. Bitcoin's up 442%. So if you just held Bitcoin at that point, if you got in at the bottom of, was around 15,000 or so, you're doing really, really good here. Hut 8 up 400%, Marathon up 393%, Cleanspark 358%, CORZ Scientific 308%, Bitfarms 248%, Riot 202%, BitDeer 106%, and Hive 86%. So if you've been around with me for the last 2 years and you got in at these lower prices, you're doing pretty good here, right? I got into those lower prices for sure, but I was also buying a lot of these guys in 2022 when the highest prices were higher. So I still have really good cost averages on all these guys here, and I'm still in the positive even now, even with them coming down quite down tremendously from where they were at the tops. So I'm still looking good. I'm still happy with my position, and I think it's only going to get better here in the next year, possibly in the next 6 to 9 months, especially with Bitcoin going up like we believe it's going to go up. We could be wrong on that, but all the signs are still pointing to, I think, a nice bull market here in Bitcoin. Okay, so that's all the miners in a nutshell over the last couple periods, whatever you want to look at, see how they performed. And I expect this to definitely be much better next year. But if we look at the miners here just for growth here this past year really quick, we'll look at BitDeer. In general, we'll look at all these guys here a little bit. Nice thing to see that BitDeer has started to hodl, 443 in November here. That was a new report for them. They might have been hodling here prior, but they haven't been reporting it. Hash rate growth was kind of flat for them. 7.2 exahash where they started out, or actually 6.7 is where they started out in January, right? Because you look at December numbers for them, so they were 6.7. We don't know exactly where they're going to be in December here this month. We'll see where they end up at, but they were only at 8.4, so not a lot of growth. They're about 1.7 exahash in growth for them. Revenues have also kind of been increasing here as well for them, so that's kind of good to see there, right? You can see that their performance here has been great over the last 12 weeks. Bitfarms here, you can see that they have a hodl, but did decrease a little bit here. In November, as far as growth, they grew about 2x from where they were. They were at 6.4 exahash. They got to 12 exahash by the end of November here. So we'll see where they end up in December as well. And then you can see the performance here hasn't been great, though, even though their operations have been improving nonetheless. Yes, they did miss some targets. They had some FUD in there as well. A lot of stuff were happening in Bitfarms this year. Riot trying to take him over. CEO being let go. CEO counter-suing them. There was not a good year for Bitfarms for sure. Cypher here. Cypher started out the year with 7.2 exahash. They got to about 12 right now. We'll see where they end up at. Could they double that? Maybe. In December, we'll have to wait and see what that comes out in as. And you can see their performance here also over the last 12 weeks hasn't been great. Their hodl has been growing nicely through August, and it did dip here. Revenues have also been increasing as Bitcoin price has been going up, so that's good to see there. Next is Cleanspark here. Cleanspark started out the year at 10 exahash. They are now at 37.5 exahash, as last reported by the gents there at Cleanspark. So they almost 4x'd their growth in hash rate, which is fantastic. As a result, you can see their revenues going up here. They should reach a new all-time high in revenue here for December. I think they should be about like 58 million, I think, somewhere around there, with everything being said and done. So they're definitely topping out there. That's going to be good. Going to be a good sign for them going into the reporting season for Q4 numbers. They should do really good also. Bitcoin hodl. Started out with 2.5 thousand Bitcoin, or you could say 3,000 Bitcoin here at the end of December. They tripled that as well throughout the year. So they not only tripled their hash rate, they also tripled their hodl position here going into the bull run. That should be good for them as well. Again, not performing all that well in the last 12 weeks. CORZ Scientific was at, let's see, here's almost 17 exahash here. They're at 19 right now. We'll see if they add anything in for December, but right now it's not a lot of growth there, about 3 exahash or so. Actually, 2.3 exahash possibly for them. Don't have anything for hodl for them. Revenue has been kind of increasing a little bit as a benefit of Bitcoin price going up for them, but their performance over the last 12 weeks has been great. The good thing with them is that they do have a huge customer, excuse me, with CoreWeave. That's going to be generating a lot of revenue here starting later on this year for them, or in 2025. So that should be a good boon for them going forward as well on that one. Excuse me. Okay. Hive here. Hive started out the year with 4 exahash. They're at 5.6. Not a lot of growth as well for them. They've been trying to just maintain the 1% of network hash rate. Hodl position has been increasing as well. Revenue has been also increasing as well. But man, the last 12 weeks have not been great for them also. So like I said, we're seeing a lot of miners doing that. The good thing is they're moving to the United States for headquarters. That should help them out, get more funding, things like that, more interest into the company as well. And they are looking to grow to like 13, 15 exahash next year as well. So there's still a lot of growth for them there. Hut 8 here, Hut 8 hash rate has actually declined. So last December they were at 7.2 roughly exahash. The end of the year with 5.6, almost 5.7 exahash. We'll see what they come in at November or December. They are buying some more machines. They are also going to be hosting some more machines. They are getting into HPCI business as well. There's a lot of possible good things happening for them if they can execute on those things. They also have a large HODL position here as well. I believe their HODL position increased as well. They bought some Bitcoin here recently as well. I think they're close to almost 10,000 right now. So they should do well going forward as long as they can execute not only on their Bitcoin mining growth, their managed services growth, their HPCI potential there, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, I think now, with them doing a site possibly in Louisiana, right, to build out a HPCI data center there, I think a tier 3 data center. So they have the potential there if they can execute on it within a timely manner as well and get things done with this continuation of a bull run that we're going to see here with Bitcoin. Their performance over the last 12 weeks has actually been much better here, right? They're up 90% from 12 weeks ago, 14% from 8 weeks ago, but not so great from the last 4 weeks or so on them. IREN here, we can see IREN started out the year with 5.7. They got to 28, 31 now, I think they reported there, 31 exahash. So that is basically a 5x growth in hash rate for them. They did a fantastic job in growing. And stock hasn't actually benefited because of it. They were able to reach new record revenues for them, 32.8 million here in November. December should be a good month also. They should be probably closer, I'm guessing, to like 50. I haven't run the numbers yet, but I think they're going to be closer to like 50-some million possibly as well if they got to 31 exahash here this month. They don't hodl anything. They do have some small business with HPCI as well, but not much. Okay. Next, Mara here. Mara has had started out with the year at 24.5 roughly exahash. They got to 50, so they basically doubled their hash rate, which was fantastic to see that they were able to do that based on their targets. And then, the revenues have improved tremendously, as well as have their operations here recently, in November especially. They were operating at almost like 100% uptime, which was fantastic to see compared to where they were prior. And you can see the result of that in the revenues that came in with November compared to October and the prior months as well. You can see their best month prior to that was December, where they were also like 100%. So that's fantastic to see that they are starting to execute properly there. Wow, excuse me. I don't know what's in my throat today. HODL also increased nicely here. They were at 14,000 Bitcoin. They got to 30, I think they're like 44,000 something right now, if not even higher than that. They've been buying Bitcoin here recently. They've been buying quite a bit here also prior to that. So that has definitely grown nicely for them. They're doing the same kind of playbook as MicroStrategy. They have a lot of things in their pipeline as well. We'll have to wait and see what they report for growth into 2025. If they report it, they've been kind of hushed on things here recently because they got burned last time reporting that they're going to get to 21 exahash, and it took them like 2 years to get there, I think it was, when they said they're going to get it done in a year. So they got their hands slapped on that, and now they don't want to really report on things. So we'll see what they report. Okay, Riot here. Riot has had pretty good growth as well. Started the year out 12.4 exahash. Finished out the year at 30.8. It looks like we'll see what they've come in with December numbers for them. But that's basically almost, they have to get to 36 exahash by December here. That would be almost a 3x growth as well for them. So really good growth here this year. Operations have been improving as well. And as a result, you're seeing the improvements in revenues as well. I would expect them to be probably in the 50 million plus revenue range here in November. HODL position has been increasing as well. And I think they bought some Bitcoin as well here recently. Yeah, because I'm at 17,000 and then it's 11. So they definitely bought some Bitcoin there in December as well. Performance here hasn't been great either. 12 weeks ago, 30% up, but the rest of the 8 weeks, 4 weeks, and 1 week have not been good. Lastly, we got TeraWolf just real quickly here. They started the year at 5 exahash. They're at 8.4 right now. They have sold a JV portion of their business there in October, which lowered their numbers. So they at least got another 3.4 exahash installed here because of it. Revenues have been kind of flat for the last, I would say, 6-7 months or so for them, around 9.9 million. They did report here recently that they got an HPCI customer, and my kids are going crazy upstairs with our dog. I apologize for that. I need to soundproof this basement. So performance over the last 12 weeks has been not great as well. Up 31% here from 12 weeks ago, 33 down from 8 weeks, 31 down from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were down 16%. It looks like that was the prior week as well. So no hodl position there. So we'll see how they do on their HPCI business. That's going to generate them about, I think, 90 some odd million or something like that per year to start. And that's going to be starting sometime later on in 2025. And they do have an option that's for 10 years, and they have 2 5-year extensions on top of it. And they can grow some more business with the customer there as well as time goes on. So wish them all the best there. Hopefully they can execute on all that stuff here. So that's it. That's a quick review of the miners and everything else. Just a breakdown of things. Like I said, it hasn't been a great year for the miners. Nowhere near where we expected things to be. Could it be because of the ETFs? Yes. Could it be because of larger players are kind of manipulating the markets a little bit? Sure. They're going long on some things and shorting some other things, hedging their bets. But I do think eventually the shorts will cover, and they're going to let some of these guys run here a little bit more. Oh, wow. I got to remind them when I'm recording not to be running upstairs. Okay, let's see. I think that's it on it. Let's get into the Q&A side of things here. We'll call it a day, and then I got a little bit more time before I have to prepare for the party celebration. Hopefully you guys are having some celebrations as well to celebrate the passing of 2024 and going into 2025. So let's get into the Q&A side of things here. And let's see what we got here. As always, the questions, preface them with a Q, and then I'll go up top to see if I have any questions, and I'll work my way down a little bit here. So bear with me, everyone. We'll get through them all. I still have quite a few minutes left before I have to get ready. All right, America's Realtor. How much further do you predict Cleanspark and CORZ going down, or do you believe we have hit the bottom? I don't think we have hit the bottom. If Bitcoin's still going down another 10% to 15%, the miners are going to be going down some more there as well. So I'm getting ready to, I'm trying to get as much cash ready as I can right now, just to buy the dip, because I still believe that Bitcoin's going to go up much higher from here. So I think we're not out of the woods yet. Okay. What are the odds of Bitfarms will be acquired by another business entity? I will start the line at 75%. Thanks for all you do. Happy New Year. You're welcome, and thanks so much for coming in here. Well, I don't know. I mean, they're definitely way down in price, but they still believe that they are going to be valued much higher when Bitcoin goes up. They should be. So I don't blame them for thinking that, right? They're getting to 21 exahash. Yes, it's delayed by about 6 months, but they still have, they're buying Stronghold. That's going to give them optionality there. That's also going to let them grow there. And then they have potentially get to like 35 exahash next year also if they execute properly. So I don't think they're going to be looking to get sold. And I think also Riot would get first dibs at it if they did get some offers. All right. Question here. Why you moved down the price valuation of Bitfarms from the previous values? Any more hope for them to go back to 3+ or just on break-even loss and move on? No, I think they still can definitely get above $3. I lowered their valuations lower. One, the number of shares have been increasing, right? So dilution has an impact on that as well. What else? The performance over the last 12 months hasn't been great. So, okay, people are not as bullish as I thought they're going to be on the growth there. Gotta tap it down a little bit, I guess you could say, but not much. I still think they can possibly get close to like $10 or more if Bitcoin goes to 250,000. All right, let's see. Question, minor PA above, price action above 100,000 was fairly good. The longer BTC stays under 100,000, the worse minor price action gets. Is that the market telling us that it thinks miners need a higher BTC price to be profitable? Yes, I think so. And the miners, for the most part, are still profitable, right? They are profitable. Some are profitable around 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, depending on their price contracts, their overhead, all those things that you look into. I look at the straight cash costs. What are those? I try to figure those out. And that's kind of where I see the miners possibly being break-even prices. So I know that they are still profitable right now. So that's why I think the final quarter should be really good for a lot of these guys here. Okay, let's see. Hi, Seb. Feels like the crystal ball needs to deep overhaul. Perhaps next year it'll do better than last 4 months. Minor stocks management have been killing investors with massive dilutions. Yeah, it's been rough. I will agree. Yeah, they're not doing as well as I thought they were going to be doing for sure. Based on what we saw previous cycle, the miners should have been running up in November. half of November into like December, right? They should have been running up. So maybe we're just, somebody said it also, maybe, oh gosh, I can't think of the word right now. Maybe the cycle is being pushed out a little bit more or something like that. Okay. Sorry. Here we go. Does your price target on Hive change with U.S. Headquarter news? How high could it go? That, I don't know. I'd have to run some numbers on that to see where they could possibly be at. It could be a good thing for them, getting more institutions and institutions getting invested in stuff like that, hedge funds, other things. That could bring up the stock higher than I thought, but also their growth. The growth is not that great. Like I said, they only want to get to like 13, 15 exahash next year. They are getting more HPCI business. That's going to be good for them in a longer time frame as well. So they have a lot of things going for them, but I wish they would be just a little bit more growth oriented on Bitcoin mining as well, or more hungry in that regard. What could be HUD price target? It's already a 21, 3x from here. 3x from here. Oh, geez. I don't see them getting. I mean, if Bitcoin goes to 2x, they should get at least a 3x, I would think. That's just simple math of things. So I could possibly see that. Let's see. Happy New Year from UK. Yeah, you guys are already in the new year right now. Congratulations. Happy New Year. Okay. Bitfarms. Oof. Where do you see it going if BTC pulls back? Probably like $1.20, maybe even. We could go as low as that. All right. Question. What do you think about the forecasted recession hitting full on early 2025? If everything will go down, obviously BTC and miners will follow as well. Yeah, I don't know if I see a full-on recession happening in early 2025. I think there's a lot of fear of what Trump's going to do with the tariffs, but I think he's going to use the tariffs as a bargaining chip, right? He's going in high on some of these places, 25%, whatever it is, 10%, and then he's going to, knock those down to get what he wants, basically. So I think it's just a leveraging chip for him on that. So I don't see that. I know that the Fed has lowered their expectations of lowering interest rates, right, to 2 times next year, I think, instead of the 4 originally. So there's that. We'll have to see how things progress. But personally, I don't see it. Maybe I live in a bubble where I live. I see restaurants being full all the time. I see people out shopping. All this stuff's happening. I just don't see it. And maybe it's just where I live. Okay, let's see. Question. After BTC obviously tops, once bottoms will form in, what do you plan on investing back? MicroStrategy, miners, others? Okay, so you're talking about once BTC tops later on in 2025, and then once the bottoms will form. So if we get another cycle, I'd love to do it again, right? I'd probably rinse and repeat this time around, probably buy some MicroStrategy, which I didn't buy this time around. Miners were the ones that we're getting into. I thought they had a much larger X multiple possibly. It's still yet to be seen. We'll see how they do in 2025. But it's basically going to be rinse and repeat as we've done it here now. But definitely try to get in later in possibly. Because I got in at early 2022 when they bottomed out in late 2022. So I was 12 months early on trying to get in on the bottom. But I did dollar cost average in, so I did okay. Okay. Will the institutions buy Bitfarms if they move to U.S.? I would think so. We saw that with Hut 8. We saw that. I think IREN's also getting into the United States as well. So I would assume so, but we'll see. Okay, let's see here. Could you reply to the Mr. Chappies, aka the GOAT guy on Discord? He has important things he wants to discuss. Yeah, I'll reply to him later on, probably tomorrow. Because once I'm done here, I'm going to get ready for our celebration, New Year's celebration. And then I will definitely reply back to him. I've been replying. We've been having a private conversation as well in private chat on Discord today. Okay, Sebastian, still bullish on miners? Oh, heck yeah. Bitfarms still worth buying? Thanks. I think at these prices, yeah, I'm looking to buy back into it as well. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this week, but I'm hoping to be able to do it next week. Hopefully it continues to go down. I can buy it at a much lower price. At these levels, yeah, a lot of these guys are just absurdly undervalued. If you look at the revenues here, I know Cleanspark's going to be like at 58 million right now, just in December. Multiply that times 12 months, you got basically, I'd just say 60 million. You're looking at 720 million revenue run rate for annual run rate for them, right? on that alone. Where they placed, I mean, they're basically priced at 3x revenue right now based on their market cap, I think. Like 3.5x. It's really low. Okay. Let's see. Good news is the Xmas rally talk can be put to bed. Yep. Let's see. Question: analysts on Seeking Alpha have Cleanspark with positive earnings for 2024, 2025, and 2026. Do you know why that would be? Do you think any BTC miner could be profitable during crypto winter? Well, that's if we have a crypto winter, right? That's the other part of this whole equation is, what if this is an extended cycle? Is that maybe what they're thinking, that Bitcoin just continues to go up, maybe slower, but it continues to go up over the next couple of years? Where we saw the same thing with the gold ETFs, right? When those came out, what did gold do? Gold went up on a multi-year run. So something to think about. Are any other miners going to be profitable? I know they should be. If Bitcoin stays at these levels, and as long as the network hash doesn't go too crazy, they will definitely be profitable. Let's see here. How thick is your tinfoil hat? Would there be a conspiracy to make the miners go bankrupt? I don't get into conspiracy theories. Why would they want to make them go bankrupt? You need somebody there to secure the network, and that's what they do. So they play an integral role in Bitcoin. Let's see here. 77 Flair says BTC will most likely revisit somewhere around mid-60s. Until then, miners will see even lower prices. If it goes down to 60, yeah, the miners are going down along with it. There's no stopping that. Okay, what are your thoughts on the macro economy next year? Go into detail. Oh, geez, I don't know. I'm not a macro or micro guy. When it comes to things, I look at things around my own little bubble. How are things going at work? How are things going, at my wife's work? Things like that, or anything else, friends' works, things like that. That's kind of, and maybe I'm just shielded from that, but I don't see anything massive happening here. I know people are fearful of inflation and things like that. So I've heard plenty of people say that they're buying things now that they were maybe holding off to buy in 2025 because of fear of inflation, that things are going to cost more, interest rates, things like that. So I've seen that. Okay. Ride bullish and bearish target for 2025. Oh my gosh, depending where Bitcoin goes. Again, Bitcoin goes much higher. I would expect them to be at least 3 to 5x from where they are right now. Right? They could even come down more, which could give us a little bit more upside potential even then. Let's see here. Cleanspark is at 915 post-market. I'm getting sliced up and killed in here. Yeah, if you bought it at higher prices, yeah, a lot of you guys, well, I don't know if you did or not, but I know a lot of people did buy it when it was in the 20s, high teens as well. Yeah, you're definitely feeling pain right now. Let's see. Robbie Rose says, even at 90,000, Bitcoin miners will show great returns within 2 quarterly prints. All good. Yep. Let's see. You downgraded Bitfarms to a PE of 5 valuation. Is that right? Could you check that, please? Did I thought maybe I did. I was doing that for a comparison, I think, for somebody of what that would be for them. Did I do it? Yeah, I did do it. I was basically looking to see where they were currently valued at, more or less, like a PE of 5. That's why it's that. So here, I'll share my screen with you guys. So somebody was asking on, I think it was Discord, what are they currently being valued on, more or less? I said somewhere around PE of 5 is kind of what I was getting. But yeah, they should be around PE of 15 with the growth that they do have here, at least by my opinion. Could be definitely more than that as well if they execute well on their growth. Okay, so that's kind of where I think they should be right now, more or less. So yeah, that is fixed. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, let's go back here to Q&A. All right, let's see here. Did you buy the dip? And if not, what are you looking to buy? I am looking to buy the dip. I did not buy right now. I'm trying to scrounge cash up. The holidays drained me pretty much. I bought my wife a car. I didn't buy it in cash, but I had to put a nice sizable down payment on it. So that drained me. Presents for the kids and wife as well. So family members, all that stuff. That kind of drained all the surplus that I had. So now I'm trying to rebuild that once I have that rebuilt a little bit. And I'm hoping to have that within the next couple of days here, actually. I'll start buying some more. But at this point, if they continue to go down, I will get into some more Cleanspark, IREN. The ones that I have already, and Bitfarms as well. Bitfarms has come down, way down from when I sold a third of my stake in them a couple of weeks ago. So I'll possibly buy back in on them. Tim says miners were the worst investment in 2024. Yeah, if you got in on some of these guys here in 2024, you didn't dollar cost average down into them. Yeah, things didn't turn out anywhere near what we thought. They also front run Bitcoin in the ETFs as well. And then we had Bitcoin getting to a new all-time high before the halving event. That didn't help things out. So it was a tough year. Let's see. Seb, I remember you contributed towards Ben becoming CEO. Could you please ask Bitfarms if they could become domiciled in the U.S.? Yeah, I think they have mentioned that they are looking into that to being domiciled. They're not against it for sure. So we'll see what they do on that. Okay, where do you see Cleanspark and CORZ price going if Bitcoin drops? Both are going to be going down. There's no escaping it. Bitcoin drops another 10-15%. They're going to drop probably 20-25%. Maybe even 30%. So be prepared for that. Okay. Robbie Rose says, anyone selling right now needs to examine. You could be doing it for tax reasons, right? Tax loss harvesting, possibly. Maybe that's a way to do it as well. Do you think Cleanspark and IREN will have positive EPS this coming earnings per share? Those sound effects did not match your personality. LOL. Okay, well, that's why you guys see, barely hear me doing it. Right? I just thought maybe have a little fun on it, but not a big deal. It's neither one of those things where I was married to it, where I had to do it. It was just one of those things to test out, see what your guys' thoughts were on it. Just want to have a little fun. As far as IREN and Cleanspark, will they have positive EPS? They should. I would imagine that they should, especially Cleanspark, because Cleanspark is going to be their Q1 numbers for them. So they don't have to put in the kitchen sink into the end of the year numbers, right, to make the numbers look better for the following year. So I think they should do that. They should be fine. IREN should also. IREN's been also really good on things, so they should have a positive EPS. Okay, let's see. Will there be a change for the profit taxation for the miners under Trump? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Let's see. Are you thinking about adding Hive to your portfolio? No. It's nice that they're going to the United States to be headquartered there. They can obviously take advantage of the many good things that come along with it. But the big thing for me has always been growth. Operations have been fantastic for them always. They're always like one of the top performers as far as uptime and all that stuff. But it's just the growth. I wish they were more ambitious in their growth than just trying to maintain a 1% or even if after they got to 2%, it'd be an improvement there. Okay, let's see. Hi, Seb. My best wishes for all of you in 2025. Oh, thank you to you. Massive dilutions have killed investors. The last 4 months have thrown your great work to unexpected levels where prices have dropped dramatically. Yeah, I mean, dilution definitely didn't help, but I don't know if that was mostly... Dilution can be contributed to it, okay? But I think it's just a manipulation in the market with the big guys going long on some things, shorting the other things like the miners. I think that's going to cease next year sometime. I don't know exactly when, but I think that's going to turn around. Let's see. This is about your recent share price prediction with PE. Do you think IREN gets to 10 or 20, and what profit margin, 50 or 70? If we're looking at a PE, I would think probably closer to 20 because of their growth and their revenue is going to be huge. And then we're looking at profit margin should be around 70 for them, I think, all in. If Bitcoin's at 200,000, let's say that their cost is 60,000 all in. That's basically cash expenses, right? If it's 60,000 all in to mine a Bitcoin's at 200,000, that's 70% profit margin right there. So that should be right around 70 at that point. How long you think Bitfarms would take to be able to headquarter in the U.S.? Could they take over Stronghold's headquarters? Ooh, good question there. I didn't even think about that. They could. When Hut 8 merged with the USBTC, they basically relocated to Miami. That's where USBTC was domiciled at. Excuse me. So that is definitely possible. I didn't even think about that, but that might be a good way to do it. Okay. Do you think MicroStrategy is a good investment at this price? At this price, I do think so, but be prepared for a little bit more of a dip, possibly if Bitcoin goes down. So if you're going to buy a little bit here, maybe buy a little bit later on. That's the way I would probably play it. Let's see here. Seb, you have been trolling to be giving miners a P of 15. Come on now, Seb. don't bank on it happening just because it happened last cycle. There were far less miners. Yeah. And the miners that did do really well, they got like a PE of 40. So Marathon was at 40. Riot was at 30 something, I think it was. So they definitely got way overextended or way over valued at the peak. And this is, I believe the same thing's going to happen here with some of these miners as well. You're just going to get FOMO in, you're going to get euphoria, and everything else. It's going to drive these stocks to unreasonable proportions. At least that's what I'm expecting, but we'll see. Okay. Let's see here. Who's your favorite Discord member? Don't say that, but I'll choose one. I can't choose all one. Just like you can't ever choose your children. All of them are my favorite, right? They all provide so much great information and different methodologies and things like that. I have a great time there, so really appreciate everybody there. Okay, let's see. I think I covered this one already. Could we start some sort of poll on X for Bitfarms to become U.S. domiciled after the monthly report? I'll give it. I think we'll try again. Let's see. IREN passed positive EPS, went for a 4 weeks run. Can't wait for earnings. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday as well. What reason would you give someone who owns BTC to also own miners along with owning BTV? BTV, not sure what that is. First time I'm seeing it. The miners are a higher, how would I put this? Miners historically have been a higher leverage play on Bitcoin. I'll just say that. So that's why. So Bitcoin historically went up, 3-4x. The miners did 7-10. A lot of the miners already did do, 7-10x. So that's already been seen. It's just some of the other miners have underperformed here. So that's kind of why you would own the miners as well. MicroStrategy 10 billion shares dilution. Yeah, that was kind of crazy news there. Hi, Sub. Happy holidays. Do you think the miners HODL should be priced at 2x? NAV MicroStrategy HODL isn't even priced at 2x. NAV now it's like 1.7 currently. I could see it being like 1.5x. You get a little bit of a premium on it, but 2x does seem a little high. I mean, at one point I think the MicroStrategy NAV was like a 3x. And that's why when I saw that, I was like, okay, this thing's getting way overpriced. And sure enough, when I said that, like a day or two later, stock started to come back down. It's just sometimes MicroStrategy does outrun itself compared to Bitcoin. Let's see. Question. 40 PE for the miners is impossible to cycle. Just look at the market caps. There are far too many alternatives to BTC and probably not nearly enough liquidity for those types of valuations. You could be right. We'll see. I'm hoping to get at least a 20. Okay. Let's see. Clay says, try to sign up for your Discord, but unable to get through payment processing. Any ways to sign up for Discord? You have to go through Patreon. When you sign up for Patreon, you automatically get, so if you're doing that, use the same email address that you use for Discord. That way it links them together and makes a pretty seamless process to do that. So you have to go through that. If you're going through Patreon, look for any spots open in like the $4 or $5 range. That way you get a discount. Otherwise, it's like $8 a month. So, but if you're still having issues with it, hit me up in a DM on X maybe. Try to get a hold of me there. Okay. Let's see, ETFs and BTC had such a great interest over miners or other leverage plays. Maybe people want strictly BTC and not anything else now. Not even MicroStrategy next cycle, for example. I don't know. I just don't see that yet. Mainly because we saw a lot of these guys still actually run up quite nicely here. IREN, we looked at this chart here at the beginning of the show. Let's see your stock performance here. You can see the performance from when they bottomed out, right? So if you got in when they bottomed out in late 2022 and into early 2023, IREN, if you bought it back then, you're up 725%. Terrible, you're up 697%. Cypher, 625%. So a lot of these guys have done very well. If you're looking at it this past year, yeah, a lot of these guys have been horrible. Bitcoin's up 442% from the bottom there as well. So a lot of these guys have done better here, but I think they're going to even do better going forward. Whereas some of the guys here from this year, I mean, majority of the miners underperformed Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 101% for the year, and majority of these guys have underperformed, and some quite substantially so. So I would expect some of these guys that have underperformed here this year to possibly do better next year when we get, I'm thinking there's going to be a rotation happening from the big guys that are shorting him, hedging him, whatever it might be, and they're going to let him run, especially if Bitcoin does go up. If Bitcoin doesn't go up, then all of this is for naught. All right, we've peaked out at the end of December here, and this is the best gains we're going to get. All right, so if you got in early on, take some profits maybe. There's no shame in taking profits at any point. If you're up nicely, if you're up, 400%, 300%, 200% even, whatever it might be, if that's going to be life-changing money for you, take some profits. We never know where these things are going to go. We think we would like to see them go up much higher, right? But there's no guarantee in that. Based on historical cycles, Bitcoin would normally run the best here in 2025 here. So that's kind of what we're basing our theories on, our thesis on, but Bitcoin going up higher in 2025. We'll see if that's the case. And is it also going to be a similar cycle like last times where we have a blow off top and then we fall back down, 60, 70% in Bitcoin, rinse and repeat? Don't know. All right, let's see what else we got here. I think we're getting close, and 6:30 here, so I got a couple more minutes left, and then I got to head out. Let's see. Okay, talked about that one. Question, what are your thoughts on that Crypto24 trader guy that's trying to fade you and your analysis? There's always going to be, there's different ways of trading. He likes to trade them, basically. He looks at the charts. He tries to get them at the bottom, sell them towards where he sees the top is before the next fall. And that's fine. That works out for a lot of people. I don't have the time to do that. All right, so I have to look at it a different way. And my way has been just to dollar cost average in. I'm still in the green, so I'm still happy with my results here. Some of you guys that got in this year, potentially this year, more than likely, are hurting right now, which I get. I was hurting when I got into the miners back in 2022, and they continued to fall throughout that year. I was down on some of these guys 60, 80%, but I dollar cost average into them because I still had faith in that cycle where we bottom out eventually, and then eventually we go back up. And so far it's played out that way, but this year has been a different year, right? The ETFs, the new all-time high before the halving event, that's never happened before. We've had a couple of things that have kind of put a little wrench in where I thought things would be, along with the HPCI plays. So, but I still, even if after all that, I still think the miners will do great, especially with them providing positive EPS numbers here for Q4, Q1 going forward, Q2 as well, possibly, which I think Q2 for sure almost, unless Bitcoin goes down, then, that doesn't really matter. But what do I think of him? I wish he used a different tactic instead of attacking people. But that's his modus operandi. I'm not that way. I'm not going to attack people for making a mistake or what they view as a mistake or what I thought was a mistake. Maybe not for them, but there's no need for that. There's different ways of doing it. Okay. So if you wait for 20p for the miners, that's how you end up round tripping. You will never get that if you do it a top single sell. Yeah, I agree with you. 20 is kind of what I would like to see, but I'm going to start trimming way earlier before then. I've learned my lesson from the last time. Right. And if I'm wrong on Bitcoin going to over 150,000, well, that's a mistake on me. So you guys have to do what's best for you guys, right? I'm not telling you guys to follow my trades, do anything of the stuff that I do. It's just, this is what I'm doing. It's so far working for me. And I'm going to hold true to that right now. Let's see. Hive is only valued at 100 million over their HODL with the move to US GAAP and FSB reporting imminent. Wouldn't they be screaming buy? Well, not only them, but you can also take a look at Marathon. Marathon right now, if you use a 2x on their HODL, it's over their market cap. So, just a lot of these miners don't make any sense right now with the pricing that there is. That's why I think we are being manipulated to all kingdom come. And eventually that's going to be a rocket ship for a lot of these guys that are doing it to make a lot of money in the upside swing, right? Beat them down now, get them so you can short them, bring them down in price, and then ride them all the way back up and make a heck of a lot more money that way. Is it possible for my mine to distribute dividend payments? I don't know why you would want to do that. You're talking about if you have a mine of your own. I think you would want to reinvest those, especially if you're trying to grow and things like that. I never like seeing dividends in companies that are looking to grow. If you're a stable company, you got stable revenues, all that stuff, and you don't know what to do with it, at that point, yes, do dividends. Morton27 says average PE in 2024 for tech stocks was 38. Why would a PE of 15 to 20? That's, some people just don't see that. That's why I said 20 is like kind of my more or less average where I would expect them to be at. Let's see, question, when did you start losing your hair? Oh, gosh, when I was 26, 27. Started noticing back here, sunlight. At that point, I was like, I had my hair pretty short at that point. There was a point when I was like 18, 19, I had hair down to here. Imagine that, me having hair down to here. And then as I got older, working the summers and things like that, I just got too hot. Started getting it shorter and shorter. And eventually I started noticing it's like, oh man, that's starting to feel very smooth back there. Sure enough, look in the mirror. All right, well, time to get the razor out and be done with this. Will Trump make Bitcoin great again? I'm sure he's going to try. Let's see. Hive, with Hive trading below its book value per share of 302, do you believe they are the most undervalued miner, especially with them getting to 15 exahash, 17 joules by the summer of 2025? Also, HI. Yeah, I do think that they're like one of the most undervalued right now based on enterprise value to exahash also. So if you look at those things, that kind of coincides with, I think, book value as well a little bit. And they are just way undervalued right now. But that should help them, I think, going to the United States. Let's see here. How many fireworks are your kids allowed to fire? Happy New Year, and thanks for all your dedication towards this channel. Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you so much for being here. How many fireworks they're allowed to fire? As many as long as they don't blow up their fingers. No, I'm kidding. It's usually my oldest son. I could have him light off fireworks. My youngest son, I still need to keep an eye on him. Let's see here. People are attacking each other all over X over the miners' performance. Is this the worst sentiment you've seen? Yeah, it's just a lot of people with big egos, unfortunately. Right, that their way is better than somebody else's way. It's like, why? We're all here to learn, to share, to learn from each other. I don't think you guys have ever seen me be mean to anybody. Even when people are mean to me, I take the high road, right? It's like, I'm going to kill them with kindness. So I see no point in getting into those tit for tat things. All right. Let's see. Yes, more time. 20 is highly unlikely for miners. They don't get valued like tech. So, I mean, we'll see. Okay. Will Terra begin paying dividends on Terra Wolf you're talking about? Again, if they do, I think it's a mistake. If they do that, I think it's just, we've seen it with other companies as well, reported that they're going to be doing dividends, but they never do it. It's just, they're trying to garner attention by shareholders or get attention to possible shareholders. That way, I think it's never a good thing. You don't want to do that when you're growing. You want to be using all the capital you can to grow, so you dilute less. But if you have stable revenue for, like I said, for a number of quarters, you don't know what to do with the money, then yeah, do the dividends. You could possibly even buy Bitcoin at that point. I think that'd be maybe even better than giving it back to the shareholders. So could you start an expo after Bitfarms monthly report to try to push for Bitfarms to, okay, yeah, we'll do that again. Let's see. Also, what is their AI HPC beta margin? How much are they expected to make next year on that? Couldn't find a number. And do you think they achieve their 15 exahash goal of, so Hive? I think they should be able to achieve their 15 exahash goal. They've been usually pretty good about getting to their targets. As far as what their beta is on that, I haven't seen that either. They're talking about the revenues that they're going to be making there, possibly around, what is it, $30-40 million in revenue on those new ones that they're getting there. So if it's 70%, like others are saying, what is it going to be? That's going to be 7 million times 4, 28 million roughly, something like that, I think. Let's see, Hive. Did Seb share his year-to-date return? On the miners, it'd probably be down, but from where I bought them in, I'm still positive on them. I'm like, right now, I think Bitfarms, I'm still up like 10% on it. Cleanspark, I'm probably down under 100% right now on it. I was at 100% the other day. And then IREN, I'm still up probably in the 20s, somewhere around there. I'd have to look. Okay. Mike says here, dividends will bring mutual funds into the stock, which would bolster the multiple. They can then hit the ATM hard to grow. Maybe. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. But historically, have you seen a company that's growing do that? I haven't been in the markets that long, but I haven't, like some of the big guys. I remember a lot of the big guys. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Sana says, love you, Seb. Hey, love you too. Love a good conversation. Love a good counter argument, as always. Bitfarm gets to $6, $10, and IREN to 30, 40. I will never forget you, and will have changed my life. I got into miners because I stumbled across a madman with spreadsheets. I appreciate that. Hey, if it gets to that, it's gonna definitely be changing for me as well, my family. So I am praying for those things. All right, guys, I gotta call it a day. I'm over my time here a little bit, and I gotta get ready for the party. So with that being said, I want to wish every one of you, especially, well, all of you, Patreon members, Discord members, YouTube members, X followers. Where else am I at? I think that's it. I want to wish you guys a sincere, happy, and very healthy and prosperous 2025 going into the new year. So more things to come. I think we'll have some fun in 2025, or we're going to be crying like little babies. I'm not going to do the sound effect because I know it drives some of you guys nuts. But again, thank you all. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.